And my co-caller this evening is Adam Sarakoglu. Adam, welcome. Looking forward to this one.
Thank you, Michael. Very much looking forward to this. Probably on paper, the most important game of the round in Smithy's VFL right here, right now at Icon Park. You mentioned that it was wet, Michael. I think it's going to get a whole lot worse. Looking at the radar, there is a big band of showers coming over Ararat, Ballarat sort of area as we speak. That is bound to hit Melbourne at some point during this game. Underway, under lights at Icon Park. This is Cooper Hamilton for the Giants. Sending him inside 50 for the first time. Front position, Lou. Just got impeded upon. Gets the early free kick for the Blues.
Yep, feeds it off to Stocker. Back in the VFL side this week after 15 disposals in that AFL loss to Geelong. Of course, the Carlton VFL side had a win against Geelong. 11 points at this very venue. And if they win it tonight, they'll be in the top 4. As will the Giants, so plenty riding on this contest for both sides. Here's Chincotta on the outer wing, sends it towards half forward. Pitternet starting forward, has a Lear opposed to him. Carl tried to gather it off hands, but just wasn't able to, and we'll toss it in. So as we mentioned, Carlton getting the win by 11 points over Geelong last week. For GWS, it was a 9-point loss in Sydney at Blacktown, that was, against the Brisbane Lions. A little bit of controversy in that one. The initial score was an 18-point loss to the Giants, but Brisbane having 9 points stripped off them. So a 9-point loss in the end, and that will affect percentage, and it may affect the Giants' chances of a top 4 spot as they go forward here. Hebron takes a good sliding mark. Got Shaw calling for it long, and he's got Pitternet, who has to make up a lot of ground, and he won't get there. Shaw takes the mark and should go back and have a shot for the first of the night.
Did see Noah Castellini involved in that play. Made his debut last week, Michael, and kicked a goal. He's shown a bit since coming to this GWS side.
Yep, 5 disposals, 4 tackles and a goal last week for Castellini. Just a young man finding his way at VFL level, but all eyes at the moment on Will Shaw. Rookie from Deniliquin for the Giants. He made the goal umpire work, but he kicked it. And the Giants off to the good start at Icon. 1 straight 6. Carlton yet to score.
4th v 6th on the ladder coming into round 18 here tonight between the Blues and Giants. Of course, we're going to see this matchup again tomorrow at the top level as well.
Yep, not too many AFL listed players out there, just 14 across the entire 46. 8 of those belong to Carlton, 6 to GWS. So it's going to be the VFL listers that are going to have to carry both sides over the line tonight.
Of course, no Briggs nor Bruce in the ruck stocks for GWS here out here tonight from last week's game against Brisbane, which was a controversial one, which we might get into at some point later in the game. What happened in that game last week between GWS and the Brisbane Lions. Right now it's Maher over the top of the ball, but he can't quite pick it up. Just had enough pressure coming from behind from Chisholm, and then the tackle from Castellini will get a follow-up stoppage. Just beside the centre circles here at Icon Park. And it's Pitternet grabbing it himself and forcing it inside 50. Crocker, was he held on to? Umpire says yes. And the man that's kicked 30 goals this year in Smithy's VFL can go for 31 and get the Blues on the board here tonight.
Not just 30 goals 28. So he gets plenty of shots. Kicked 1 goal 4 last week. So he didn't have the kicking boots on. Missed a couple he'd usually kick. So needs this one to get his confidence up.
GWS did win the toss, and Ryan Hebron points it toward the Royal Parade end of the ground, right of screen as you're watching us here on afl.com.au and the AFL Live app. Ben Crocker now to get the reply for Carlton. That snuck in. It was heading toward the left goalpost, but it snuck in for 6. We've got a goal apiece early stages.
Nice start there for Ben Crocker, as you mentioned, inaccurate last week. 1 goal 4, including a couple going around the corner that certainly the types of goals he'd usually kick. We see him nail those all the time. We saw him do it in the AFL as well, but that's a good start for him just to get his confidence up and, well, belying the conditions so far. Both sides have got a goal on the board. We're only about 4 minutes in. So that's good to see. Expecting a high-quality contest tonight between two sides that are hoping to finish in the top 4 in the Smithies VFL. Both AFL teams have been ravaged by injury. We'll touch on that a little bit later on. Virus did well in the ruck. He's going to try and follow up as well. Forced to lay the tackle. Ball does spill free. Brander, Chisholm, had a bit of a fumble. Pitternet applying the pressure. Well done there by Hanley, and the Blues will go forward again. Pitternet loops a handball out wide. Carl can set things up. It's a Neil-directed kick, though, and Will Clark, standing in the hole for GWS, takes the mark, and will poke it short to Aliir, pick 15 in last year's national draft.
The next option not so obvious, though, for Lekalia. One of only 6 from the AFL list out here in orange and charcoal tonight. Down the line he goes. Interesting effort there by Dirksen. Couldn't quite reel it in the end. Brander got a little tap forward. That ended up working okay for Clark. Then the whistle. The push that the umpire has spotted. It's going to come back to Clark. Just behind true centre wing. So a couple of early touches here for Will Clark. 2 touches each for Brander, Durden and Pitnet on the ground so far. Here at Icon Park this evening, as Clark assesses options and goes long to the contest. A big double fister in the end to kill it off by Durden over the top.
Yep, and that's Sam Durden wearing number 39, which usually belongs to Oscar McDonald for Carlton. He's number 38 in the AFL side, but number 39 in the VFL side. So just a little quirk there for everyone to be aware of as get ready to toss it back in. About 70 out from the Carlton goal, or the GWS goal, I should say. Trudgeon back into the side this week. Averages over 7 tackles a game and 21 touches. He's one of the key players, and in the minds of many, unlucky to not be on an AFL list. Grintle, the smallest man on the field, takes the intercept mark for the Giants, and he'll concede some ground for Barry Murphy. Another inclusion into this side tonight, and now Fleeton. And the Giants have worked it out wide. This looks like it might be Frost on the outer side. It is. He takes it on. Fleeton. They're going to work it by hand here, GWS. It's not pretty. Probably not advisable in the conditions either. Well done, Kemp. Getting himself involved, but not able to extract. So we'll have a stoppage. Outer side of the ground, half forward flank for the Giants.
Goal apiece early stages here. Will Shaw, Ben Crocker in the scorebook already. This one stays in play momentarily until it goes out. About 65 out from home for the Giants. So winner can go into the top 4, as you mentioned, Michael. Carlton started the rounds in there at 9-5. Boundary throw in here. Pitnet had front position there against Virus, who then picked it up off the deck but had a lot of pressure around him. Romensky forcing it forward for GWS. That's actually reeled in pretty nicely. No mark was paid, though, there to Radovanovic, and the umpire calls for the ball up. Thought maybe Steph Radovanovic had enough of that. In the hot spot here for the Giants. Looking for goal number 2. Pitnet tapped it down. Romensky over the top of the ball again for GWS. He's got Lewis tackling him. The ball was socked toward the goal square, then off the ground. I think that's a goal for the Giants. It looked like it was Shaw off the ground. It's been paid, and the Giants have 2. Stuck the boot out. Made the most of the opportunity. Giants restore their 6-point lead.
So Will Shaw gets his 2nd goal of the game. He kicked 9 goals too for the season. So he is accurate when he gets a chance. Now up to 11 for the season, and it's a good start for him. It's been a good start to this game as well. 2 straight 12, 1 straight 6. The away side doing the majority of the scoring early, but it's been even in the contest as the umpire puts it down. Murkov with the leap. Trudgeon was being held. Nope, he was holding. Nope, he was being held. That free kick going against Pavlidis. Debutant at this level tonight. Inside 50. Pitternet not quite able to hold it. Giants clear. It was a rush kick. Bouncing ball in the middle of the ground. Stocker should pick up. Had a bit of a fumble though, and he's turned it over himself. Pavlidis again. Romensky. Handball out wide into the path of Fellows. Now towards half forward. Stocker did well defensively, and Kemp there to mop up. Then sold Chincotta into a bit of trouble, but he was able to get it back to Kemp. A little bit of messy footy at the moment. To be expected in the conditions. Barry Murphy just put it on the boot. Ball on the outer side of the ground. Now a chance for Chisholm. Murkoff can't hang on, but is able to retrieve it and send it long. Aquay mistimed his leap. Mark almost taken on the ground, but now the Blues a chance. Carl, always dangerous in the forward half of the ground, but this one is cut off for GWS by Grintle.
Some slick footy being played out there by two top six sides in Smithies VFL. The more of this, the better, because we know there is a big rainstorm coming at some point tonight. And this will, no, that will turn it into a very, very different game here. As the kick goes down the line, it stays in play. Marchbank in the long sleeves, around the corner. Couldn't hit the target in the end. Well, he hit the target. The target didn't take it. That was Trudgeon. Ball's forced forward in the end by Virus, but Hanley's underneath for the Blues. Not far away from that shining monogram on the Carlton HQ building. And here's Marchbank again. He's only played 2 games here in Smithies VFL this year. Just the one AFL game, of course. It's the Giants ball in the square. We go inside 50 again. Good fist from behind by Durden. The kick's coming towards Otzi. Gets it now. Little kick for Sanders. He's good and the Blues are out.
That they are. Sanders put a bit too much on the kick though, and it's been turned over. Brander started this one industriously. Averaging about 23 disposals a game this year in the VFL. Marchbank hoping for a better result with this kick, and he gets it. Having to take that at full stretch was Dotsey. Young man from the Northern Knights. This kick hugs the boundary line, and it was tailor-made for Aaliyah. Starting AFL life as a rebounding defender. Seen him switched forward at times as well this year. So the Giants just trying to work out his best position going forward. That kick intercepted by Glass McCasker. It's all taking place on the broadcast wing. 2 goals won last week for Glass McCasker, captaining Carlton tonight. Another long ball up the line. Aquay did well. Forced it to ground. Didn't have too much ground level support though. Aaliyah invited the tackle and then was dispossessed. Now we've got a big mass over it. And the umpire says, my ball. So Carlton come into this one, 9 wins, 5 losses. They started the round in 4th, but Sydney's taken that spot after their big win over Frankston today. As the Blues go inside 50, Aquay might have been held. He'll get the free kick. Frost opposed to him. It's definitely a height mismatch in favour of the young Blue. And he's been playing mostly as a defender this year, but he's been moved to a forward role in the last couple of weeks. Just kicked the 1 goal last week, but looked very dangerous. Of course, his aerial ability, one of his major strengths, Dominic Aquay. Category B rookie on the Carlton AFL list. From the Next Gen Academy, tight angle. He started it right, it's come back, but not quite enough, and it didn't have the distance either. Thumped into the post by McKinley Miller, and that's a rush behind.
Lear kicks in quickly. It was a low ball, but to a teammate that had no one near him. That was Fellows, and now we're already at half-back. Romensky for the Giants will go toward the wing. It's a well-weighted kick, and they've worked this out well pretty quickly here. GWS as Quirk goes inside 50, but it's all Carlton here. As the ball just skids along the ground. It's regained by Clark for the Giants. Pressure was coming late there from Carl. Ball pops up in the air. Little handball from Dotsey, but into a teammate that had a lot of Giants around him. Kick down the line didn't work out. It's one back for the Giants by Edwards. He went inboard. Carlton then get it back again. It's messy footy here. Lewis sends it high to the wing. Aaliyah might have been pushed by Crocker, and he'll get the free kick.
That he will. Aaliyah goes short to Luke Lawrence. Academy member for the Giants, just 18 years old, featured for the Allies in the National Carnival. Inside 50, Pitternet can't take it going to ground. Danger signs now for the Carlton defence. Remensky stuck a boot in. Slick handball from Shaw, and Hebron will kick the Giants third. Great work, Will Shaw. He's been involved in everything so far going forward, and the skipper for GWS gets on the board.
Maybe there is a scoring advantage toward the Royal Parade end of the ground. That is the end where Hebron pointed to when he won the toss, and he's kicked a nice goal on the left there. So a good start for the Giants. With only 6 AFL listed guys out here tonight. The Blues have a couple more.
Plenty of talent, it must be said, for both sides on their VFL lists. Of course, Ryan Hebron there. We know how good a player he is. He's done it for Werribee, done it for Sydney, and now he's doing it for the Giants. Harry Grintle and Sam Frost have also been very impressive this year in the VFL for the Giants.
Umpire Harry Birch puts in pretty good bounce to restart play. Dirksen in the ruck for the Giants, and Murkoff had a huge advantage as he forced it toward half forward. Sanders back toward Murkoff. Eventually lost the ball before he could get it to a teammate. It comes to ground, and then a number of bodies jump on top of it. The ball does come out, though. Cooper Hamilton laying a tackle. It comes out Carlton's way in the end. Dotsy's been busy already tonight towards half forward. Good fist on the ball there to kill it off by Frost at ground level. It becomes a Carlton ball again, though. Dotsy, Akwoy gives his handball off, and it's going to be a high ball inside 50 by Carl. No one could mark that one. It was a tough one to do so as it comes to ground. That one does not look like it's coming out. Fleeton, I think, is the Giant that has it and got driven into the Icon Park turf.
Umpire took a while to blow the whistle there. Umpires tonight, Matt Young, Nick Yankovskis and Harry Birch. Ball inside forward 50 for the Blues. Extracting was Lawrence. Handball was blind though, but there to retrieve is Chincotta a long way up the ground from his customary home, and he can't keep it in. So Dotsy leading all players on the ground with 7 touches. David Hanley's got 6. Brander with 4 for the Giants. Alir, Clark, Fellows, Grintle and Shaw mixed up with 3. And Will Shaw's kicked 2 goals and set up another one with those 3 disposals. So having a massive impact on this game so far. Here's Paddy Dow, big ball winner at this level. 29 a game. Chincotta might be within range. He sets it up instead, and Fleeton tried the spectacular but got nowhere near it and gives away the free kick. It's going to be Glass McCasker for the Blues to take the shot from the top of the square.
It's pretty unnecessary to do that there from Cameron Fleeton there for the Giants, giving up what is probably going to be a pretty simple set shot in the end for the Blues.
Well, he saw an opportunity, Fleeton, and his eyes just lit up. Unfortunately, he got the timing all wrong and didn't get enough elevation either. And the result is a shot at goal for Jesse Glass McCasker. Kicked a couple last week, top of the square, no mistake. Carlton gets its second. The margin back to 5 points as Glass McCasker, the captain, gets on the board.
Mentioning both sides, going to have to rely pretty heavily on their VFL lists, and the best 2, or the leading 2 ball getters on the ground are both Blues from the VFL list at the moment, as you mentioned, Michael, with Dotsy already up to 8. Hanley has the 6. Jared Brand's a leading ball getter for the Giants, but he's a fair way back from those leaders in Navy Blues. Only got the 4 so far.
Yep, and a lot of intrigue about Caleb Marchbank tonight with some Blues fans who might be watching. He's up to 3 disposals, and he's taken a mark as well. It's just good to see him back out there playing footy. So many injuries in his AFL career today.
The 2 45s will go at it in ruck again. Dirksen against Murkoff. Umpire Matt Young wanting to make sure that he nails this one, which he does. No one wins the tap, though. It comes to ground again. Chisholm maybe tried to soccer that one off the ground. It was just stolen and forced inside 50 in the end by Hanley. And Fleeton comes to present and take the mark and win it back for the Giants. So that's now 9 touches, or 7 rather, for Hanley. But we're looking at Sam Fleeton as we speak, or Cam Fleeton. Just behind true centre half back, and he'll go lateral to Miller. One of many fresh inclusions. This is Edwards now for the Giants. Kick will land just beyond centre wing. Murkov was the tallest man there as it comes near the boundary line and goes out. Right in front of the Carlton bench.
As you mentioned, Adam, plenty of fresh faces out there for the Giants tonight. 4 debutants, in fact, at this level. And all 4 of those, well, not all 4 of those, sorry. 3 of those are Giants Academy members, and the other, Jalen Pavlidis, plays for the Western Jets in the NAB League this year as an overager and is having a mighty fine season as well. 21 disposals a game as he's been rewarded with his fine form with a VFL debut. As got holding the ball decision here. Xavier Marr jumped on it and didn't get it free, so Brander will take the resultant free. Just pokes it to a contest. Hamilton off hands. Cincotta really should have marked that, but no harm, no foul, because it's kicked out in the full by Cooper Hamilton. Picked up 12 disposals last week and also kicked a goal. Mostly playing as a defender this year, but spending a little bit of time in the middle now with all the injuries for GWS. Here's Durden as Carlton has affected the switch. Continuing to hug the boundary line. Next link in the chain will be Muschetti, the 23rd man. Takes it in front of Lachlan Wright. Long ball up the line. Glass McCasker caught in the back position, had to spoil, but all the representation with GWS on the ground. Up the line they go. Mark not taken. Now the ball, like a cake of soap in there. Does squeeze out. Marchbank just handballed it straight to a Giant, though, and they'll go forward again. Durden bravely takes the relieving mark for the Blues.
Yeah, heard the footsteps of Hebron coming, but held on to the ball nicely. As the Blues will reset from their last line of defence. Radovanovic over the top for Dotzi. And there is another loose option down the line as well near the boundary. The kick not great though for Sanders. Opened up the door for Frost to pick it off on centre wing for the Giants. And already telling his teammates to slow it down a bit, which is a bit odd. Halfway through a first quarter. It goes very short. Luke Lawrence. Another of those that have played for the Allies in the National Championships this year from the GWS Academy, finds Brander. 2 kicks from home here for GWS, leading this one by 5 points. Brander got the play on call and sends it deep inside 50. Come off the head there, I think, of Hebron. Romensky with the snap, kicks the goal. And the margin is out to 11 points, GWS's way. Brody Romensky, only his 5th goal for the year in Smithy's VFL. And a good game of footy here at Icon.
Nice finish there from Brody Romensky. 4 straight 24, the Giants. Not the sort of goal kicking you usually see in these wet conditions. Carlton 2-1-13, been pretty accurate themselves, just haven't had as many opportunities going forward. 9 inside 50s to 7 in favour of GWS in the early going. Blues have had more disposals though. Just over possessing it a little bit perhaps. As we're back in the middle. Dirksen, the mid-season draftee for the Giants, going up against Murkov, the mid-season draftee last year for Carlton. Of course, he was plucked from the Blues VFL list to go onto the AFL list as the Giants go forward through Casalini. Durden couldn't quite hang on. Lou off hands. Carlton able to repel. Tom North kicked a crucial goal last week in that close game against the Cats. Archie Stevens, Crocker in the one-on-one. Good work defensively. Now the pack forms over the top of it and dived onto it is the call from the umpire. So a chance now for GWS to go forward. Free kick to be taken by Frost. Up the line. Inside 50. Carlton with the numbers. Kemp had it slip through his fingertips. Grintill's in the area. He'll lay the tackle. Ball not coming out.
So we're approaching quarter time here. 4 straight goals for the Giants to start this game against Carlton's 2-1-13. As the ball is thrown up, handball was intercepted there. Maybe a chance here for GWS again to pounce, but there are plenty of Blues numbers around it. They do win it back eventually. Hanley already with a dirty jumper, kicking it toward the wing. Murkoff kept it in front. Eventually coming to meet the ball, Moschetti, but a turnover ends up seeing GWS go towards half forward. Good tackle by Lou. Ball does spill out. Right before the umpire was going to call for the ball up. Right now, unable to get past a couple of Blues, Kemp being one of those that forced him over. Just outside 50. So, Blues coming off a win last week against Geelong. GWS going down to the Brisbane Lions in a game that had the score revised during the week, courtesy of the Lions being caught out with 19 on the ground as we go inside 50. Affecting your contest late there was Kemp. Marchbank then lost it. Look at the Giants streaming through here. I think that was Castellini that maybe got a look, but the kick came off the side of the boot and fell out of bounds. Inside 50 for the Giants. Blues have actually done relatively well here in this passage to withstand some of the attacking pressure coming from the Giants. Boundary throw in again. It was dropped initially by Pitnet, then kicked it into an opponent. Dirksen left it behind. That should be another stoppage that's called for. It is.
Stoppages expected to be the theme of the night with the conditions. Under lights, the rain falling in Melbourne. Ball goes to a few pairs of hands. Kemp eventually able to pick it up and just slams it on the boot. Gains about 50 metres, but it's to a contest on the ground. Eventually it's picked up by a Giant, but didn't have too much interest in keeping it in. So we'll have a boundary throw in front of the construction site here at Icon Park. Which caused a little bit of intrigue last week. A couple of footies were actually lost in there, and we're not sure who retrieved them. Perhaps the first tradie in on Monday morning. Maybe he can complete the set with a yellow one tonight. North skirting this footy, eventually picks it up, but under immediate pressure, and ball will be thrown in once again.
So not the setup we have at GMHBA with the construction workers just manning the area.
No, that's right. I think those workers may be in there more for entertainment value than work value, but I'm not too sure about that.
It's a very good gig.
We go forward, it's not bad. Not bad at all. Frost retrieves for GWS. Alir forced to just thump it to a teammate, and now they've got clean possession. Barry Murphy, who's going to bring it laterally to Fleeton, and now running hard to try and get on the end of this one is Quirk. Turns over now. Radovanovic. Lou. Couple of defenders getting forward. Nice ball use. Carl dropped the mark though. Under pressure from Frost. And he held on too long, Frost. So Carl's going to take it. Wants to go quickly and does. Into the pocket. He's got Crocker leading. But he had it bounce off his chest as well. And it's over the boundary line once again. But the Blues have worked it into a scoring position. They've got the two leading ball winners on the ground, Dotsey and Hanley. Each have 10. Brander, the best of the Giants, with 7. Goal scoring opportunity for the Blues. Crocker and Glass McCasker have kicked their goals tonight. Wilshaw's kicked a couple, and Hebron and Ramensky have kicked the others for GWS. Handley wrapped up immediately, but he was wrapped up high. So the shot at goal will come for Carlton, courtesy of David Hanley.
His stat line right now almost identical to Patrick Dotsey. Those two the leading ball getters on the ground. 5 kicks, 5 handballs apiece.
22 years old, David Hanley. Just the 3 goals won this year from his 10 games. Former Geelong Falcon. You can hear the Giants trying to put him off, and it may have worked because he's hung it out to the right. And it didn't come back enough. 2-2-14 now, the Blues, trailing GWS by 10.
Fleeton's kick in, intended for Clark, and it does reach him eventually. And with 2 kicks, the Giants already almost on centre wing. That one just bouncing away from Lockie Wright, and we've got a throw in front of the interchange gates here. Both sides will make use of those. Ethan Grace coming on for GWS and Xavier Marr doing so for the Blues. Pitnet in ruck here. Did that relatively easily. It's going to be forced forward by Dow, and it ended up in the hands of Carl. He goes looking inside 50, but losing his footing as he tried to take the mark last. McCasker, Giants able to repel, get it back towards half forward. Marchbank, as he held on to that, he has. Good mark by Caleb Marchbank as he goes out wide. Blues want to move it quickly north. Stocker, right footer. And the siren will go before anyone marks that. In fact, it was a good effort by Lekalia. That's the first one done here at Icon Park, and it's the Giants by 10 points. 4 straight 24. Carlton 2-2-14.
Second term about to get underway here at Icon Park. It's GWS 4 straight 24, leading Carlton 2-2-14. Glad to have your company wherever you may be watching around the world on afl.com.au and also on the AFL Live official app. Michael Petrevski and Adam Sarakoglu bringing you round 18 action in the Smithies VFL. And for the start of the second term, here's Adam Sarakoglu.
Thank you, Michael. Entertaining game in the first quarter. And there is a big rain shower coming, which will change the complexion of this match completely. So we'll enjoy this while we can in these dry conditions. It'll turn into a very different game later as Dow lays a strong tackle here, resulting in a ball up. He was making sure that Grentel was going nowhere for GWS. Pitnet and ruck here. Hanley read it well, just got a kick away, then picked up by Moschetti, gave off his handball. Carl and now Crocker in the pocket here. Crocker just had to take the body of Lekalia as he kicked, and maybe it was enough to push a trajectory of that ball away from the goal face, a minor score.
Saw Paddy Dow there laying the tackle. Just the 5 touches for him in the first term. Down on his usually prolific output at this level. Had 31 last week and is going at about 27 a game. As ball goes long, GWS numbers on the ground. Right, just toe pokes it forward, but straight to Marchbank. You can hear the calls of March. Plenty of teammates want it short. Eventually he picks one in Handley. This will be number 14 for him. Gee, set North a task, sandwiching between 2 Giants, but he was the only one who kept his feet. And now he can wheel onto the left and pump them inside 50. Aquay's got a couple to contend with. Did well to get it to ground. Moschetti, left foot banana, and that is a brilliant Crummers goal to start the second term. And well done, Dom Aquay, to get it to ground, matched up against a couple of defenders. That's a really impressive goal in the conditions.
Had the audacity to go outside left foot as well, instead of what might have been the safer option on the right. So a good start for the Blues here. 3-point ball game. Early stages second term.
Well, he did the tough stuff last week, Moschetti. 8 tackles in his VFL debut. Got him a game this week, and all of a sudden he's got the confidence to try that sort of thing. Ever kick one of those in your playing days, Adam?
Opposite foot outside the boot in open play. I can't say I have, Michael. Back in the middle.
I reckon you tried it.
Maybe on the training track. Just didn't have the audacity to do it in a game. Pitnet just got his kick away there. Hanley again. He's been ultra busy. Couldn't get a clear disposal that time as Clark forced it forward for GWS, but it'll be Marchbank reclaiming it for the Blues. Gave it to Radovanovic, who was under some pressure. Now Marchbank again goes inboard by hand. Trudgeon, Chincotta. They work it out nicely, Carlton. Going inside 50. Aquay to target, but caught behind, and that's actually a pretty good mark that was taken in the end by McKinley Miller. One of the debutants out there for GWS sends it wide toward Clark. It's an awkward bounce, and it goes out of play.
4 debutants out there tonight for the Giants. And one of those in Miller, kicking it to Will Clark, who's played every game at this level for the Giants this year. 14 games out of 14. And going at 16 disposals a game as well. Pushing the back. Carlton free kick. Going to Trudgeon. Very much used to seeing him on the bottom of packs. Missed his first game of the season last week, but straight back into the team. Just sets it up towards a hot spot. Two Giants went up and got the fist on it. More Giants on the ground as well, but Carlton have done well to lock it in. 15 now for David Hanley. He's had his hands all over it in this contest so far. Carl taking the ground, pushing the back. In fact, it might be Trudgeon again. And he's got the free kick. Doesn't want to have the shot, so we'll just poke a short to North. And now he's within range. Kicked a brilliant goal on the run from almost this exact spot in the last quarter last week. And that was a crucial one to get Carlton back to within a kick after giving up the lead. The stakes aren't as high this time around for Tom North, but he can put his side in front early in the second term. Kicks it from right on the paint. It's just got to hold its line, and it's hit the post. So another behind for the Blues. They're now 3-4-22. GWS still 4 straight 24.
Cam Fleeton to bring it in for the Giants, looking straight down the middle. And it was a good option in the end. Hebron taking it at centre-half back, and he keeps on going. With 2 kicks, they're inside 50 to Giants. Couldn't bring the ball down, though, that time. Could Virus. It's reclaimed by Durden. Back to Kemp. Little left footer over the top, and it's a nice little ball in the end that finds Chincotta. Just inside defensive 50 for the Blues. Back to the man that gave it to him, Brody Kemp, who then gives it back to Chincotta. It's a game of kick to kick at the moment inside D50 for Carlton. Now we'll go longer toward Lou. Haven't gained any ground here, the Blues. And Lou is going to turn it over. And I'd be disappointed if I was a Carlton fan watching that. It's a cheap turnover in the end. Turnover comes, and Shaw, kick 2 in the first, can get a look here. Kick is smothered though. Don't know if he saw North coming. Gets it now, then fumbles it out of play. Don't know exactly how to describe that last 45 seconds of football.
I'll just say it's not one for the archives. But everyone gets a chance to reset now. Boundary throw in. Cooper Hamilton running with Paddy Dow. I'm not sure if that's a direct one-to-one sort of matchup. Of course, Hamilton primarily a defender, and here he is laying the tackle on North, but his man Dow's got it. And Dotsey will just send it up the line. Grintle got the fist in. Smallest man on the field did well in the air, and he killed the contest. 16 now for Hanley. Dotsey with 10. Marchbank up to 9. Brand is still leading the way for GWS with 7. Fleeton, Frost and Lawrence each have 5. Pitternet with strength over Virus. He will have the size advantage. Virus only 193 centimetres. Pitternet's got about 10 to 12 centimetres on him. Inside 50 go the Giants. Mark or free kick to Stocker. Take your pick. And the first round pick from a few years ago is going to take the free. Dirksen standing the mark. Sizzling low ball use. Not good. It's a turnover in defensive 50. Carlton need to be good now to reclaim it. Trudgeon under immediate pressure, but was pushed in the back by Chisholm. And the Blues get out of jail. And it's taken quickly. Lou streaming through the middle. In fact, that was Stocker. Sends it towards half forward. Crocker playing in front. Just left it behind. And the Giants will get the free kick for a push in the back. Both sides a little bit sloppy at the moment.
It's Frost with the ball for GWS. And again, they want to slow things down. This might be a deliberate ploy by GWS to play some slow tempo footy here tonight. He eventually went down the line. There's a hold. GWS free kick on the outer wing. The ball is coming back to Brander. And now 50. Does this bring him within scoring range? We'll see when the umpire sets the mark for Jared Brander. He's kicked 8 goals, 8 in Smithies VFL. Is a listed emergency for the AFL game tomorrow. 45-degree angle, and he'll have to kick it from probably about 45 out. So it's a 2-point ball game before this kick from Jared Brander. He's got good numbers here in Smithies VFL, averaging nearly 24 touches a game and taking nearly 10 marks as well. Right football is on the way. He kicks the goal. Giants by 8 at Icon Park.
Well, the Blues have certainly started this second quarter better than the Giants. They put the first goal on the board and had the majority of their play in the opening, in their half. But the Giants have done well to withstand that and just concede that one goal. And Brander gets one against the flow. And that extends the GWS lead to 8 points, and they still haven't kicked it behind yet.
He's made 5 AFL appearances this year, has Jared Brander. As I mentioned, they have really good numbers for VFL level, Michael.
He's playing really well. Started life as a key forward at West Coast when he was a first-round pick there back in 2017, but he's now applying his trade more as a winger. That's why those disposal numbers are up. He's made a pretty good fist of it. His second go at an AFL career as we get a recalled bounce. Viras against Murkov. The latter will have the height advantage and didn't even need to jump on that occasion. And he may have held on a little bit too long in the tackle, Murkov, and the umpire saw the same thing I did. Free kick to Pavlidis. High ball inside 50. Carlton with the numbers in the air, but didn't quite kill the contest. Ball still alive for GWS inside their forward 50, but Carlton did extract. Mard wasn't able to handle it, though, and the Giants will go inside again. Hebron playing in front. Takes the mark in front of Lou.
He's been leading by example, the GWS skipper tonight. Hasn't had the huge numbers on the stat sheet, but
very nice finish earlier in the game in the first term. Left foot snap. That got him to 18 goals, 14 for the year. This one will be a more conventional set shot, directly in front. He'll only kick from about 30. And he's put it through. The captain's got 2 for the Giants. They've got 6. And the lead now 14 points, the biggest of the game so far.
And they're doing well considering there's only 6 from the AFL list out here. Back-to-back goals, sees them now up by 14 points. And for the Giants, it's Jared Brander, the leading ball getter, with 8, and Sam Frost has 6, and there's a whole bunch of Carlton players in among all those on the leaderboard for disposals. As we're back in the middle, that bounce favoured Murkov, and that's 2 in a row that were uncontestable that have been recalled.
Something on your radar there, Adam?
Did find out during the week there is a limit for recalled bounces where the umpires have to then throw it up for the rest of the day. There's a threshold that if they do meet it.
Is that on an individual umpire basis or for the game?
It is thrown up for the rest of the game. I do believe it's all round. We're inside 50. Again here for the Giants, at least momentarily. It bounced back out. Castellini then gave off a handball, and this is going to be marked by Luke Lawrence. Too far out to score. Decides to centre it for Clark. No mark taken. Carl crashing through. He got brought down in a pretty strong tackle by Lockie Wright. Ball does come out. Clark again. Couldn't get his kick away. Lou for Carlton. Gave off his handball, and they're out of danger, but it's going to come back in. Fleeton taking the mark and quickly going inboard. Lawrence again. Actually concedes a bit of ground with that one. Fellows then sends it in toward forward 50. But it will be cut off by Paddy Dow, and he'll run off half back and go straight down the middle toward half forward and find Crocker. Too far out to score, though, is Ben Crocker. Akwoy, his target. Bounced in front of him. Gets it now. Then dribbled it across the face of goal. Glass McCasker took some body there against Fellows. It does stay in play. Glass McCasker now is met solidly by Lekalia. Ball was tapped on. Out into open space. There was a foot race for it. It comes to grounds again. No easy footy here right now. Trudgeon tackled as soon as he got it. Ball comes out again. Akwoy gives off the handball. Miss Carl, though. Carl gets it. Has plenty of orange around him. This is high pressure footy right now. Inside the forward 50 for the Blues. Archie Stevens had it and lost it. Forced to retreat. Couldn't find Radovanovic initially. Gets it now, though, Radovanovic. Hand pass to Mar. Back to Steph Radovanovic. He might get a clean look. It's on its way. That would have been the hardest earned goal I've just about ever seen in Smithies VFL had Steph Radovanovic converted that. But unfortunately, Michael, he kicked it like a defender.
That he did. Just 1 goal 3 for the season. Dangerous kick in, but Fleeton able to hang on with a Quade bearing down on him. Ball gets to Lawrence on the half volley. Needs to be good, and he picked it up cleanly. Kick didn't quite hit the target the way he would have liked, and now the Blues can go the other way. Inside 50, Fleeton playing in front, got hands to it. Akwe again, did well to get it to ground though, and the centering ball for Glass McCasker caught behind. And GWS will repel once again. Here's Will Shaw, the star of the opening term. Kicked 2 goals and set up another one for Hebron. This time we'll just feed a little handball. Hamilton now has it. Kicked right up against the boundary line. Ramensky, Marchbank did well there. May have just put him off, or maybe he lost it in the lights. Either way, Carlton ball now. Marchbank, Chincotta, Dotsy. They're hugging the boundary line still. Now they're going to bring it back slightly. Akwe sets himself. Got hands to it. Carl is dangerous in these situations. Can't make anything happen here. Akwe was clean on the ground. Chance again for Carlton. Dotsy just puts it to the spot where there were 2 Blues. And the mark was eventually taken inside forward 50 for Carlton by Xavier Marr.
You would have seen, watching it on AFL.com.au AFL Live app, that Jesse Glass McCasker was injured in all of that, and he's now coming off and favouring what could be either a left shoulder or potentially wrist injury maybe. He's coming off in a fair bit of pain.
That's a concern for the Blues. Their captain tonight, and really their number 1 key forward for this game as well. But the focus is on Xavier Marr at the moment. He started it right and can't bring it back. So disappointing result there for the Blues. They're up to 3-6-24 now. GWS 6 straight, but they're pressing.
Radovanovic again getting involved. Hand pass looking for Lewis. Has to go back around after initially missing the pickup. That's when the Giants converged on him. It's close to the boundary line. Took a while to go out. Finally it does. Or is it going to be a GWS ball? I think it is. I don't think I saw a free kick pay there either. Might have been on the full maybe. It's a GWS ball nonetheless, and it's Frost that has it. And he does not like any of his options. Finally something presents short and over the top. It's Fellows on the outer side. On defensive 50. Kick will land on centre wing. Over the top, Durden kills it off nicely. We've got a throw in on the wing. Dirksen was the would-be marker there. Now who contests the ruck against Mark Pitnet. So a 2-goal game here. Halfway through the second quarter. Pitnet down, Mark gets it now. And gets rid of 1 tackler before sending it inside 50. Fleeton, the spare man, couldn't mark it. Then fell into the lap of Crocker. Gives off the handball. Muschetti, left foot toward goal, kicks it. He has. He's got 2. This second gamer has kicked 2 goals in this second quarter, and he's making a huge impression in Smithies VFL.
Second game tonight, Muschetti, 18 years old from the Gippsland Power, and he certainly looks like a threat inside forward 50, always buzzing around, laying tackles, and He's got on the end of a couple tonight with a couple of very classy finishes. Real small forward goals. And the Blues have worked themselves back to within a goal. They've kicked 2 goals, 4 in the quarter to the Giants 2 straight. So they're winning the term, albeit only slightly. Almost into time on in quarter number 2. Umpire taking his time here. Really setting himself for a big bounce. And we get a good one. Completely misread, though, by Dirksen. Pitternet got the hit out, but the Giants will win the clearance. Bouncing ball towards forward 50. Handled well by Brander. Tapped it on cleverly to Hamilton. This would be brilliant, but the kick from right, he was just pushed off it. And Carlton through Handley. And now Lewis.
17 now for Handley.
Can get themselves out of danger. Marchbank. Next link in the chain, you suspect, will be Stevens, and it is. Runs underneath it and takes it. And now the Blues have got a little bit of run and carry going. Dotsey ran himself into a bit of danger, then shot it off to Ma, who went to ground, and luckily for him was taken high because he was in a world of hurt if he wasn't. So Ma can set them up again to the pack. Pitternet's there, and he won't take the mark. It's going to be paid to Aquay instead. Aquay with the athleticism and the lead. Pitternet may have gotten first hands to it, but the umpire pays it to Aquay. I mentioned earlier in the call, he's played primarily as a defender this year. His first season on the AFL list at Carlton. The last 2 or 3 weeks, he's morphed into a forward. Kicked a roving goal last week, which was really nice, and he's loving life as a forward, Dom Aquay. He's got his first of the night, and the game is tied. 5-6-36, they've taken the circuitous route to get there to Carlton. GWS, a more accurate 6 straight 36. We've got a good game on our hands with a top 4 spot on the line.
Yes, we saw the Giants kick 2 goals within a couple of minutes in the middle stages of this second quarter. And the Blues have now done a similar thing within 3 minutes to tie this ball game at Icon Park. And if we're going to keep seeing that from Don Aquay, then yeah, maybe life up forward is where he belongs.
Blues fans have got something to be excited about in that young man.
Good bounce to restart play here. Dirksen mistimed his jump though against Pitternet, coming through his North. Blues will go into attack again. North onto the favoured left, Aquay again, but this time he was caught behind. No mark was taken. Chance here for Handley. Bouncing ball, decided to go with the soccer option. Just getting in the way there was Frost before it arrived. That Carl who gets it now. Left foot snap. He's way off target though. Giants ball against or next to the behind post. It's going to be Cam Fleeton to restart play here. Momentum with Carlton at the moment. Brander. Kicked a nice goal from a set shot earlier in the quarter. His kick for Fleeton, not great. North then overran the ball. It's just bobbling on 50 at the moment. Kemp tried to burrow his way through, get a hand pass out, but couldn't do so. And there's a lot of humanity over the top of the Sherrin.
"22 minutes into the second term. Dirksen with the leap, then Pitternet tried to hack it out of midair. Ends up with Stevens, and it ends up inside 50 for the Blues. Bouncing chaos ball. GWS defence up to it though. The exit not clean, although Shaw did really well to keep that in front of him. And now they can get it moving. Here's Shaw again. Got around the tackle. Well, enough to get the handball away anyway. Quirk puts it on the boot out wide, but only as far as Chincotta, who's been mopping up everything across halfback for Carlton this season. Here's Muschetti, 2 goals in the term. Murkov doesn't get to him. Hanley now on the ground, has a leer for company. And the ball will go over the boundary line. 3 goals, 4 in the term to 2 straight.
Sorry, Mike was going to say the overall disposal count plus 54 for the Blues in a level ball game.
That is a high count in any Smithies VFL game, but especially one where the conditions are like this. But it's working for them because they've had the better of the term. Ball bobbling around inside 50 there for the Blues. Now the pack forms.
Although I'm not actually sure the conditions are that bad yet. It's a bit dewy out there. I think we've seen some slippery footy at times.
There is rain falling. It's not a lot at the moment. But the ball is slippery. As the Giants try to exit defence, unable to do so. Kick towards the top of the square at Clay. Tried the spectacular, couldn't take it, and ends up through for a rush behind. But my goodness, he is a live wire up forward. And for the first time tonight, the Blues will take the lead. And that's the point by which they lead it.
It's Frost with kicking in duties here. Goes short to Brander. Blues by just 1 point. Brander, right foot ball going down the line, and in the best spot to mark it was Chincotta. As he looks ahead, no leads. Plenty of the holes have been plugged here by the Giants. He again goes long to the hot spot. Underground ball, reclaimed in the end by Grace. He'll go high. Bouncing ball at half forward. Lou gets it for the Blues and has a man in space. Gave off the handball. Nice sidestep by Dotsy. Then goes for goal, but that's going to be a wayward kick. And Aaliyah made sure it went through for 1. So that's now a 2-point lead for Carlton.
So Fleeton to bring it back into play again. Just in 2 minds at the moment. Eventually he goes on to his preferred left. It's all timber there in the form of right. Just had it bounce off his hands, and Pitternet just throwing his weight around like a good ruckman should. Almost tackled with contempt there for his opponent. Boundary throw in. Pitternet stood his ground. Got it down. Chincotta. Trudgeon. And now the Blues will go inside 50 through Stocker, but the kick not to the advantage of Murkov. Aaliyah couldn't hang on though, but he copped the push in the back. Easy decision there for the umpire. Aaliyah's ball, last line of defence. Doesn't have a lot to kick to. Almost all 36 players in 1/4 of the ground, and Pitternet with the authoritative fist. So the Giants led it by 10 at quarter time. They now find themselves trailing by 2. It's been a good fight back from the Blues. 5 goals, 8 to 6 straight. It's been a fair while since the Giants even had it inside their forward 50.
Yeah, they've kicked 2 goals, 3 unanswered, the Blues.
It feels like their time in forward half has been very high in the last 10 to 15 minutes of the game. The ball is won for GWS. Chisholm just spirals it forward. That's a good mark in front by Hebron. He's got men streaming towards goal. He's not in too much of a hurry though. Now does pick something he likes. It's Romensky in a one-on-one. Had the front position. Lewis did well defensively. And nothing comes of it just yet, but at the very least for the Giants, they've got it inside their 50, and now they can try and lock it in. 27 minutes into the second term. North is wrapped up immediately. Ball it up again.
Rucks nominate. Vieras and Pitnet. Then the snap from Grenzel. That's going to miss everything. In fact, it took a bounce before going out of play. Boundary throw in. Next to the behind post. Giants will look to restore their lead here with the halftime siren pending. Pitnet Too strong, stood tall. Nearly a chance though for Virus coming through. Comes to ground. One of those Giants trying to extract it was Romensky. Ball pops up in the air. Now North has it for the Blues. He does dump out of the danger zone. Running onto it nicely is Lewis. Left foot ball toward a Quay. He's got the one-on-one here. Pushed his man into it though. He actually took a mark in the end. It's Miller winning it back for GWS. Now Luke Fellows with the ball. He's an injured Giant behind play. We'll take a look at what's happening there in a minute if we can as Lou keels it off. It's Kyle Virus, is it, Michael?
Yep, that's right. He's just in the hands of the trainers at the moment. Was slow to get up from that last contest inside forward 50.
Already struggling in the ruck department coming into the game tonight, the Giants.
That they are. It's Chisholm now who stands 190 centimetres. He's going to handle this boundary throw-in. Might not even bother contesting. In fact, he did okay, but Pitternet still won it down. Now Chisholm following up. That's where he'll have the advantage. Ball held to Trudgeon. It's right in front of our broadcast position here at Icon Park. It's a 2-point lead to Carlton after they trailed it by 10 at quarter time. Dirksen now against Pitternet. Giants win the clearance. Ball bounces in front of right, handled it nicely, but Lou slung him in the tackle legally. Kemp's handball partially smothered. Now North caught in a sea of orange and had a friend in the boundary line. Almost 30 minutes into this term now. Dirksen standing a long way off Pitternet. Tried the jump. Then toe poked it off the ground. That was effective to Romensky, but he's got a problem now over the top of it. He's eventually squeezed out, and Dirksen will soccer it forward. Not to any real advantage, though. The Carlton defence has that under control, and it'll be another boundary throw-in. 70 around from the GWS goal. Of course, kicking to the legend stand end of the ground. It hasn't proven so legendary for them in this quarter. They've been well outplayed by the Blues. Pitternet's kick smothered. Dirksen following up on the ground. Almost missed it totally. Dow picked it up nicely, then ducked the head trying to draw a free. Umpire wise to it. Got the kick away anyway. And Alir paddled it towards the boundary line. That's exactly what he wanted. And a little bit going on after the fact.
Ross McCasker back out there.
It's good to see. He looked in a bit of trouble before, but he is back out there for the Blues. Siren sounds for half-time. And it's a good one at Icon Park, and there's plenty of feeling in it. As you can see, the players getting into a little bit of a scrap. No surprise, the biggest man on the field, Pitternet, in the middle of it. Tensions 8 to GWS, 6 straight 36. Michael Petrevski alongside Adam Sarakoglu calling all the action in round 18 at the Smithies VFL. It's the game of the round. The team that wins this game will finish round 18 in 4th place. And with finals getting ever closer, we know how important that is to secure the double chance. As the third term gets underway, Adam Sarakoglu to bring you the opening bounce.
And we're still dry here at Icon Park. There could be some rain coming. Second half is underway. And the ball is on ground level. It's the leading ball getter on the ground. It's already involved here in Hanley. But Trudgeon eventually is the one that picks up and sends it inside 50. But Grintle picks it off for the Giants inside defensive 50. And we'll go short. Keeping it in the corridor for Quirk, who now switches for Clark. So the Giants led by 10 points at quarter time, down by 2. Coming into this third quarter, Lekalia with the ball. The coloured boots matching this very bright and vivid GWS kit. I must say, Michael, we're talking about it off air. This is one of the better kits we've seen in footy all around as they go inside 50. I think it was Shaw getting it in there. Ball's dumped back out off the ground by North. Frost there to collect it for the Giants. Grintle Going out wide, fleeting onto the favoured left. It goes to the top of the square. Bouncing, it might go all the way through. No, it just goes across the face, and Kemp escorts it over the line.
So the first score of the second half goes to the Giants, and it's their first behind of the game. And a little bit of a peek behind the curtain as well into our off-air conversations. Not overly thrilling, I must admit, but not too bad nonetheless. Durden out wide.
I enjoyed it.
I enjoyed it as well, but maybe not to the average person. Would that be thrilling? Ball on the outer side of the ground. One-on-one. Glass McCasker with the size. Pushed off it though. Well defended there by McKinley Miller. And the ball is out of play. The winners earlier today in the Smithies VFL. Sydney by 44 over Frankston, Richmond by 55 over Williamstown, and Casey by 23 points over Footscray. It's Murkoff, silver service for his Rovers, and now the Blues are inside 50 just like that. Glass McCasker with strength. Got rid of Fleeton and held on overhead.
So we made note of one particular stat in the first half, and right now in disposals it's Carlton plus 41, and that's all by the way of handball, which is 81 to 44. Inside 50s right now, Michael, are dead even, 25 apiece. So it's a game of contrasting styles in many ways, even though it's quite even on the scoreboard.
13 scores to 7 as well in favour of the Blues. This one should be score number 14, as Glass McCasker makes sure score number 14 is a goal. They're 6-8-44 now, the Giants. McCasker's got 2. GWS 6-1-37. And since quarter time, the Blues have been in command.
3 goals in a row. And they've kicked 4 of the last 6. To lead this one now by 7 points at Icon Park. A very chilly Icon Park. It's quite frosty out here tonight.
Nice to be at one of the indoor venues to call from, Adam, on a night like this.
Yeah, sometimes we are out in the elements, but
yep,
well protected tonight here at Icon Park. Back in the middle. Murkov in ruck against Dirksen. Good bounce to restart play. No winner, but Hanley again just coming through. Has to evade the tackler. Got a hand pass out. The Blues will clear. Chincotta going by hand to Dow, who ducked underneath the tackle before going inside 50. Blues can get 2 in a minute, maybe. Glass McCasker marks. And he himself can get these 2 in a minute if he converts here. Going for number 3 for the game to give the Blues what would be a 13-point lead.
Almost a carbon copy of his last one-on-one mark inside forward 50. Got rid of the opponent, then took the mark outstretched arms.
Plenty of angle here to deal with. 15 in from the boundary line. Jesse Glass McCasker kicks the goal. And that is 2 in a minute to start this third term for the Blues. A game high 13-point lead over the Giants.
So it's 5 goals now to 2 since quarter time. Jesse Glass McCasker getting Carlton off to the perfect start in quarter number 3. We're only about 5 minutes in. And they've got their biggest lead of the game at 13 points. Giants led it by 14 at one stage early in the second. But Carlton has dominated since.
The leading clearance getter on the ground is also Dave Hanley. He's got 8.
He's feasting tonight on the Giants midfield. Dirksen got first hands on it and was pushed. So either way, he's getting the clearance. Wanted to go quickly because he had Chisholm fanning towards half forward. He'll wheel immediately onto the left. He's got one-on-ones forward of the ball. The fly came. Mark not taken. Ball spills to the back. Angus Edwards, the debutant, forced to lay the tackle because the defending was desperate from the Blues, but it's deliberate, insufficient intent. And the Giants are going to get a shot at goal.
Yeah, unfortunately for Steph Radovanovic, he knew exactly what he was doing, had plenty of pressure around him. And
so running around the corner is Shaw, and he's missed. 2 goals, 1 now for Shaw. But the Giants need to get going in the scoreboard department. They trail it by 2 kicks.
Stocker running out of the square. Kick will land right in the middle of Icon Park. Got plenty of distance on that kick. There was a hold. Free kick Blues. Crocker, a fair way up from home for him. Has a runner out wide. Disposal number 22 for David Hanley. Finds a target as well, almost by accident. Pitnet was just waiting out the back, and it fell into his arms.
Yeah, just misjudged it a little bit there, the defender for GWS. I think that might have been Fellows. Just got himself underneath it, and as he said, Pitnet probably wasn't expecting that to land in his arms, but it did.
This is for 5 in a row for the Blues. 2 before half-time and now 3 in this third if he kicks. We've had a poster at both ends in about 60 seconds.
So if you've just joined us, it was a 10-point game at quarter time in favour of the Giants. Carlton led it by 2 at half-time, and now still early stages third term. They're up by 13 points, courtesy of 4 straight goals. That kick in clean bowled the whole pack. Sanders can get it out wide to North, who's caught in 2 minds as to where to go. Eventually kicks it inboard. That was a safe enough kick for Chincotta. Now he's bereft of any options further up the field. So we'll just chip a short to Radovanovic, and well, he's ended up handballing it to himself. Radovanovic gets it to Lou. Now they're forced to play a bit more of a chaotic game, and it's working out in their favour until that final kick. Good work defensively for the Giants. They'll get out of danger through McKinley Miller, who's been impressive on debut in the back half, but Handley, another defensive effort. He's not just doing it with ball in hand, he's doing it without as well. Forced to spoil there on Brandup, and we'll have a boundary throw in.
Pitnet and Dirksen will do battle here. Inside 50 for the Blues. 4 consecutive goals. Got rid of his man, tapped it to the wrong man though. Chisholm out of defensive 50, over the head of Radovanovic, goes back in to get it. Now North. Had plenty of charcoal and orange around him. Hanley, another touch. Inside 50, Glass McCasker. Plenty of Giants in front of him. Frost, happy to concede. 23 touches for David Hanley. Has it on a string here at Icon Park. And the kick in's good for Ethan Grace.
Young man who represented the Allies at the National Carnival this year for the under-18s. Hebron long lead is rewarded. Thought about the handball, then decides to gain some ground by foot and send it inside 50. The height, though, with the Blues. Shaw did enough, though, to force a contest, and now he's locked it in on the ground as well. Good effort there, Will Shaw. And the Giants will get a stoppage inside forward 50 and perhaps a chance for a much-needed steadier. They trail it by 14 points. Murkoff tried to spike it out of the area. It's gathered and put on the boot by Casalini to the hot spot, but Carlton defence has that under control, and they're out of danger once again. Stevens not paid the mark. Ma. Handball turned over though. Dotsey just didn't quite find the target. Chance for the Giants to go inside 50 once again. Lou well placed, and he'll take the juggling mark. Well done, Tyrese Lou, and he'll go short to Crocker a long way from home.
I think he's been pretty good across half-back tonight for the Blues. Crocker playing up the ground at the moment, now Chincotta. Next in the chain is Carl. Gets to him eventually, but had Grenzel right there with him. And a throw in front of the construction site here at Icon Park. The cityscape in the background, a great view that we've got here. The venue that hosted the last VFL Grand Final we had all the way back in 2019, more than 1,000 days ago. Boundary throw in. Here's North. Chipping one. I think it was intended for Stevens. Came late now. Stevens surrounded by Giants. And the numbers will win out. It's Fellows forcing it forward. Chisholm giving off the handball. Kick is towards half forward. Ended up with Wright. And then it all came unstuck. And the Blues get it back through Trudgeon. Switching it to Crocker. Hasn't had too many looks at goal. Did kick one early, but hasn't been too involved in this game. He's got another touch here, Ben Crocker. Goes in board. Slipped through the hands there of Lewis, and now Hanley. Lou. Kemp. Thought about a handball, then goes by foot. Took a long time to get to North. He goes now towards half forward. Trudgeon. Lead on offer from Stevens. Good ball use there by the Blues. They were patient. Kept making the right decisions, and now they've got a shot at goal with Archie Stevens, who hasn't even got a goal to his name here in Smithy's VFL. And he is going for a shot despite what is a pretty tricky attempt here, just inside the arc and near the boundary line. It's on its way. He might have done it. What does the goal umpire say? I think it's good. He has. He's kicked a goal. Archie Stevens extending this lead out to 20 points.
Beautiful finish there from Archie Stevens. Kicked it like someone who's been in that situation many times before. The margin now 20 points. It's starting to get dangerous here for GWS, because if that big shower is coming that we expect is on its way, that 20-point deficit will be very, very difficult to overcome. So the Giants need to get a goal or two, and they need to do it pretty quickly.
Looking at the radar, the worst of it might actually miss us. Don't want to be in Geelong right now looking at this radar, Michael.
Well, perhaps a good sign then for the Giants. They may have a little bit more time to work themselves back into it, but still 20 points in a reasonably low-scoring game with a slippery ball. Not ideal, and the Blues will go inside 50 again. Sanders to the one-on-ones. Aqua's in the area, but Fleeton got the fist on it and made sure no danger could come from that. Margin now 21 points, 59 plays, 38. It'll be Fleeton to bring it back in again. The kick had too much on it. Stevens can make them pay once again, and he does. 2 and a couple of minutes for Archie Stevens as he makes the Giants pay full price for their error.
That's now 6 straight for the Blues. The lack of experience out here in charcoal and orange maybe starting to come to the fore here. There are only 6 AFL listed Giants if you're just tuning in out here tonight. 4 debutants. And that may be why the Blues are starting to get on top. So Archie Stevens has gone from no goals to 2 goals in his VFL career.
All in the space of a couple of minutes. That one, really a gift.
Wade Dirksen against Alex Murkoff. And a bounce from Matt Young is pretty good to restart play here in the middle. This might be a rare GWS clearance of late. Kick didn't go that far though, so we're still in the middle of the ground. Dirksen laying the tackle. It fell to Chincotta in the end. He's got a runner over the top as well. North trying to weed his way through some traffic. Ends up with Xavier Marr. Goes for a run. Gets a look. He's gone too far. Wasn't a goal anyway. His eyes lit up. The free kick will come back here for the Giants. To be taken by Jalen Pavlidis. Out of the Western Jets. Kick goes toward the outer side. It was well marked by Lou. Comes in board. Dow giving off the handball, but Stocker leaves it behind. Turnover. GWS ball. Castellini had to give off the handball. It went wide from Edwards to Clark. Now Castellini. He fumbled at the crucial moment. Moschetti right there with him. Keeps paddling it toward the boundary line, then dived on top of it. And the ball does go out of play. Actually gains about 30 metres of territory there. And hasn't done too bad in the end, the second game of Noah Castellini.
It's actually a free kick. May have been on the full or insufficient intent. Didn't quite see what that one was for. Durden has it last line of defence. Pop it short to Kemp. The Giants have defended this pretty well up the field, so Kemp not too sure where to go. Just poke it across the face for Marchbank. Making his return from a knee injury tonight. This will be disposal number 13. Now the Blues are going to take on some risk, and it's not going to work out because the Giants are going to come back inside forward 50. But the kick straight into the arms of a Carlton defender in Stocker. He pokes it short. Now Ma has it. Going to go a bit more risk averse this time, the Blues. Dotsey. Stevens, who's really having an influence in this third term, and he's got Crocker all on his own on the 50.
You'll think about a shot here.
He certainly will. It's not beyond him, Ben Crocker. He plays on, in fact, and he's hooked it a bit too far. Through for a minor score, but it's all Carlton at the moment. The margin now 28.
Fleeton will go short. Grace turns and goes. And the Giants are now out of defensive 50. This is Quirk. Right foot ball toward the wing on the outer side. No mark could be taken at ground level. Dow then left it behind. Giants forcing it forward through to the legs there of Stocker. Marchbank picks up the ball. Stocker then fumbles back to Marchbank. They're under pressure here to Blues. Turnover. Shaw, left foot. Could have been a wicked bounce, but there was a goalkeeper there in the end. The behinds and the very quick kick out from Lewis, but the goal umpire wasn't finished with the signal, I think, so it's coming back to Lewis now.
He'll have to do it again, Michael Lewis. In fact, and it won't be him to take the kick in. Giving it up to a teammate instead. Long and wide. Right up against the boundary line is Dotsey. The kick in the end perfectly weighted for him. And he's just going to go long up the line as well. Aaliyah well placed. Slips out of his hands. Crocker read it well. Trudgeon back to Crocker. He's gone up the field a lot in this game. Free kick advantage. Dotsey wants to bite off the aggressive corridor kick. The Giants defender went to ground and North can send them inside 50. Murkov! Not quite. Still danger here for GWS. Glass McCasker. Sanders. No one can get their boot to it. Giants throwing bodies in everywhere trying to defend. And that may have been an overzealous tackle. It was, and the Carlton people love it at Icon. Free kick directly in front of goal to be taken for the Blues by Paddy Dow, who's had Cooper Hamilton wearing him like a glove tonight. Hasn't been as prolific as he normally would be. Just 11 disposals. But he can kick a goal for his troubles from the top of the square, Paddy Dow. And Carlton are very much in control. The margin 33 points as Dow kicks his first of the night.
Now the Giants have to be careful here. In this run of now 7 goals, the Blues have kicked their goals in pairs. So
man up on Paddy Dow at the next stoppage, you're saying?
If the trend continues, they're due for another one soon. Dow has been quiet tonight, as you mentioned, Michael. But now has a goal to his name, 13th for the year. An emergency for the AFL game tomorrow, as is Liam Stocker. Lockie Fogarty and Jack Nunes were held over, as were Flynn and Steen for GWS. Back in the middle. It's Pitnet back in the ruck here against Dirksen. Pitnet stayed down, won the tap down. Hanley overran it. Might have been held. Free kick advantage paid. They go again. Dotsy. Little left foot chiselers. Nice for Crocker. The mark is right on the arc. That's probably a bit unfair for Ben Crocker. He probably marked that one a couple metres inside the arc. But I don't think he cares. He will line up anyway. Only has the one goal tonight, Ben Crocker. Giving himself plenty of room. What did I say about kicking their goals in pairs in this run?
Well,
let's see if the trend continues. Getting very close to the man on the mark. He'll come off his line to get the distance. Kicks on the way from Ben Crocker. Through for a minus score on this occasion. Just the one goal still for tonight for Crocker.
1-3 for Crocker after 1-4 last week. Another turnover from the kick in. The Blues a chance. Ball in the hands of Marchbank. Snaps onto the right. He doesn't kick too many. And he hasn't got one here. Through for a behind. The Giants need to maybe just think about how they're bringing the ball back into play. It's Fleeton with the task of doing it this time. And he's going to go much more conservative, although he hasn't hit it too well. Forced his teammate to try and grab it off the ground. The clean pickup was absolutely brilliant. It sent goalward, but Aaliyah got hands to it. Stevens, the man who kicked it, he was looking for goal number 3 in the term. But it's through for another behind, and GWS are going to try and run the gauntlet again.
Just looking at an injured Giant on the crutches. Can't put any weight on that right foot.
Might be Virus from before.
Kyle Virus sustaining the injury in the first half. Frost, and again, slow it down, slow it down. It's not the first time I've seen him do that tonight. Not sure slowing it down is the best idea for GWS right now. Find themselves down by 36 points as Brander goes with a nice centering ball. Mark was taken by Edwards, and he does well to find Wright. Good build-up so far from the Giants. Wright goes inboard. Frost. No gesture this time. Yes, there is. Every single time he gets it, Michael, he's telling his teammates to calm it down a little bit. I am not sure why. Frost. Fairly good kick, that one. Got plenty of distance. Lands near the goal square. Rominski grabs it. Radovanovic grabs him. And we've got a ball up. In fact, it was Chisholm for GWS. Tapped down by Pitt now. Actually did well to find Trudgeon. Got rid of one man. Handball eventually to Lewis, and now Marr. Out of danger again, but only temporarily. The Blues. The mark taken here by Hebron. And he's telling his teammates to slow it down. I really don't get it, Michael. They're down by 6 kicks. Nearly at three-quarter time. They need to get a hurry on. Kick goes inside 50. Marr again. Kemp, the dump kick. Back to Hebron.
So not a lot of inspired play at the moment. Just bang it long and hope for the best. See if Hebron, who's playing in defence now after starting the game forward, just to try and stem the bleeding. But again, it's just another long ball into forward 50. And again, the result is a Carlton clearance. Marchbank off hands to Handley in space. Disposal 27 coming up. Just missed the target by hand, but has plenty of support. But Marr now dragged over the boundary line and will throw it in. Hanley with 26 to lead everyone on the ground. Dotsy 21, Chincotta, North and Trudgeon all have 19. For GWS, Fleeton leading the way with only 13. Sam Frost next up on that same number.
A lot of them are kick-ins as well for Fleeton, 12 kicks.
They certainly are, and he's had a couple of troubles with the kick-ins tonight, Fleeton, especially in this third term. Inside 50 now, the Giants. Marchbank sliding to meet it. North had a fumble. That invited the pressure, but he was able to get it in the path of Dow, and he's just going to bang it out of the area. Here's Fleeton, number 14 for him. Swings around the body, and that's a little bit better, but the mark not taken. And that's a bit too easy. Casalini not able to hang on to that one. And the Blues out of danger once again. And defence can turn into attack quickly if Carl wants to go. Decides just to slow it down. Of course, Carlton, the team that can afford to slow it down at the moment. He's going to kick to a contest at half forward. Off hands. Comes to nothing for Carlton. And now we'll have a boundary throw-in.
It's been honestly somewhat uninspiring, GWS, since quarter time. The fact that we're seeing when they get some clear possession, they're not really trying to create anything too inventive and get some flow going. Boundary throw in here. That's set. Only 6 of the AFL list out there tonight. 4 debutants. So they're up against it coming in. They've lost their ruck as well in Kyle Virus. So it's a tough old night here for GWS. Kemp giving off his handball to Marchbank. Kicked it into travel the required 15. So now coming in board is North. That'll be a turnover. Quirk tackled as soon as he got it. Did well to get his hand pass out though. Bouncing ball at half forward. Found its way through to Barry Murphy. Turns and goes. Kicks to an empty square. It's skittling along. It's going to stop dead in the goal square for Kemp to pick up and send it in the direction of North. And he'll go short to Ma.
It's bad luck there for the Giants. A Barry Murphy kick falling short. Now Carlton on the offensive. They might have turned it over here. Clark taken high. It's going to be too far out to score, Clark. He's just going to centre it for Hamilton, who's met solidly by Crocker. No free kick called, and now Carlton off to the races. Crocker has a man out wide in Trudgeon, who just slows it down. Now he goes to the one-on-one. Carl and Hebron. Hebron always with the advantage in the air, but on the ground it's a different story. Can Ned pick it up? He can. He's going to try and burn them off with pace. Slipped as he kicked. Into the pocket. Crocker, not quite. Off the ground. The goal is picked up and kicked by Paddy Dow. He's got a couple. And the Blues now lead it by 42 points.
Some sore ribs for Cooper Hamilton from that play that was happening on Carlton's half-back line.
I've got to admit, I'm surprised that wasn't a free kick. Crocker didn't look to have too much intent for the ball there.
It's now come off with a trainer.
Just wanted to put some body contact on.
So he wanted to stay out there. And Cooper Hamilton, maybe his hand was forced there by the trainers. So that's a rib problem. One of the AFL listed guys out here for GWS. They're already without VFL listed ruckman Kyle Virus, who came in tonight to replace both Briggs and Bruce, who played in the VFL last week. Low bounce to restart play. They've blown this one out of the water, Carlton. And this is how the second quarter ended, with a couple of minor little skirmishes. This time it's happening in the middle of the ground. At halftime it was on the wing. As we like to see, the cooler heads will prevail, but the Blues are well on top here. A 7-goal lead come all night, and it has come big time this rain. And if anything, well, the game was probably already over, but now it's just about a certainty for the Blues in what's been a pretty dirty night for the Giants.
That's right. The rain's really picked up during the three-quarter time break, and if it wasn't an insurmountable margin, it certainly is now. Because in these sorts of conditions, we've seen a little bit of untidy play from both teams at times tonight. And I don't think it's going to get any cleaner as the final term gets underway. It's going to be Pitternet against Dirksen in the ruck. Dirksen has really been thrust into that role. He's much more of a forward. But with Virus now injured, that's the role he's been forced to play tonight, and Carlton are going to come away with the clearance. A little bit of slingshot footy off half-back, if you don't mind. Shinkoda finds Crocker, who had to dive to take the mark, but I reckon he might be within range. He's going to give it off instead. Dotsy can't hang on in the pocket. And he'll paddle it over the boundary line. You can probably hear the rain through our effects mic. It is starting to come down rather heavily at Icon Park. As we get set to toss it in. The Blues have kicked 7 straight goals. I'm not going to get another one here, you suspect, although they will get a chance. No. Free kick going to Dirksen. Not against him. So they will get out of trouble here, GWS. Ball on the outer side of the ground. They're not too keen to try and play it quickly either. Kick into the corridor is okay for Dirksen.
Has an option out wide. Good to see that Cooper Hamilton's okay. Short kick is good for Brander. So the Giants using it well by foot so far in this chain. Grintle to Romensky. Comes off his line and goes inside 50 for GWS. And Shaw had gotten rid of his man there in Kemp, who went to ground. Umpire says holding the ball, free kick to the Giants. And who is going to take it? It might be Quirk. Seb Quirk. 1 goal, 1 on his season. If there any chance at all, this must go for 6. Directly in front, in the rain. Early stages, final term. Sebastian Quirk comes in, got pretty close to the man on the mark, and kicks the goal. Breaks a run of 7 consecutive for the Blues. And there's just a slight glimmer, maybe, for these Giants.
First goal of the second half for GWS. They've only kicked 3 now since quarter time. If you have just joined us, the Giants led it by 10 at quarter time. Carlton fought back to take the lead by 2 points at halftime, and then they kicked 6 goals, 7 to just 3 behinds in the third term to blow it out to a 42-point margin. That lead now 6 at 36. With thanks to Seb Quirk getting the first goal of this final term. Back in the middle. Trudgeon somehow got the ball free. Pitternet, Dow under pressure. Did get boot to ball, but only as far as Chisholm, who's dragged off his kick. Now Pitternet tries to extract. More successful in doing so. Trudgeon, Dow, being worn like a glove. But Dow eventually does get it free. Chaos ball inside 50. Well handled by Aquay. The handball to Stevens. Shot out to Sanders. Now a chance. Carl hasn't kicked one tonight, and he won't do so here. He tried to get it to Aquay, who went to ground at the crucial moment. And it's lucky for the Giants because they're able to get it out of there. But Pitternet standing underneath this. Doesn't take the mark. Trudgeon again. Poked it short for Lewis. Now they're going to bring it wide. Carlton. Kemp tracking this on the ground. Romensky. Taken in the tackle by Kemp. Ball does spill free. Here's another chance for the Blues. Spills into the path of Stevens for goal number 3. You better believe it. Archie Stevens, 3 in the second half. His first 3 goals in VFL footy.
He's having a coming out party tonight. That'll settle it now in case it was still in doubt. Win number 10 coming up for the Blues. It's a tough run home after next week, Michael. They get Williamstown on the road on Saturday, then a bye, and then Casey Collingwood back-to-back to round out their home and away season. So a couple of tough games to finish before the finals there for Carlton. For the Giants, this tonight is their last Victorian trip in the home and away season. They might have to come back down for finals. They're playing a curtain raiser battle of the bridge next week against Sydney at the SCG. Essendon, a bye, and Footscray in their run home.
Well, that's encouraging at least. I don't have to make another trip to Victoria.
Back in the middle. Saw some footage today from the Sydney Swans game, and it was a lot worse than this. Torrential rain up there in Sydney. This Blues ball here. It's going to be sent high by Hanley toward the hot spot once more. It's going to be tough to mark those high balls now in these conditions. Ma on the follow-up, left foot toward goal. Too much angle on it. Lekalia will bring it in for GWS.
Has a short option in the pocket, and that's where he goes. Fleeton. Exiting defensive 50 has been a bit of a problem for GWS, especially in the second half. The Carlton pressure has been massive, and there's another problem. Chincotta got the fist on it. Aquay swoops onto it. He's swooped upon immediately, so nothing will come from that. But again, another turnover inside defensive 50 for the Giants. The Blues have done an excellent job of just hemming them in and giving them no opportunity to get out. Brander just hack kicks it out, hoping for the best. Radovanovic onto it. Couldn't handle it cleanly. Ball in dispute. Quirk taken high. And a chance maybe now for the Giants just to try and get the ball moving forward. Grinzel. Ball into the path of Romensky. Couldn't hang on. Good defensive effort there by the Blues. Now they're mucking around with it by hand a little bit, the Giants. All the way back to Alir at defensive 50. He tries to spot up a target. Lou did well to get a hand in there, and the Blues will come away again. Dow has Ma in space at half forward. He can poke it into 50, but Hamilton in the way, got in front of Sanders and took the mark, and maybe now a chance for the Giants.
Frost through the middle of Icon Park. It's a nice low ball to find Dirksen. Not much ahead, although there's an option presenting in the left forward pocket. Romensky will mark and line up for the Giants second in this final term. I think I misspoke before, Michael, by the way. The AFL Battle of the Bridge is actually the curtain raiser for the VFL game afterward at the SCG.
It certainly is.
Next week. It's going to be the AFL game first, and then the VFL side after that as Romensky kicks a nice goal around the corner. That's his second for the night. 6 goals on his season. Was playing locally last year here in Victoria for Maribyrnong Park in the EDFL. Now applying his trade for the Giants in the second tier competition.
A league you and I know pretty well, Adam.
The Blues have a few from that league in their lineup today. Stan Radovanovic.
So, as you mentioned, next week is going to be the real focus now for the Giants. This one very much out of reach. Trailing by a big margin in the final term. I guess you'd call that maybe a curtain closer next week against the Swans. Not too sure, but...
No, it's the main event. The curtain raiser being the AFL game, and then we've got the main event after that. You can watch it on afl.com.au, AFL Live app as well.
You certainly can, just as you're watching this one on afl.com.au as well, and the AFL Live app. Free kick going GWS's way. Pavlidis got a dirty jumper there after that tackle.
I suppose it could be an encore. It's the same matchup.
Oh, that's a nice way to frame it, I think. We'll go with that. Will Clark takes the mark off his line, called to play on, just chips it towards half forward. Romensky has it punched away from him over the boundary line.
Just for these Giants, I mean, there are 7 Blues on top of the leaderboard for disposals before you get to Cam Fleeton with the 16 and 15 for Brander.
And most of those for Fleeton have been play on kick-ins.
Yeah.
So
15 for Frost as well.
Frost, another one who's been playing mostly in the defensive half tonight. Hanley, another touch, 29 now. So Brander really the only sort of offensive threat getting his hands on the ball with any real opportunity, I guess.
The surprising stat, though, is that the Blues are only +5 for inside 50s. That is surprising.
That is, Blues have certainly gone with a more handball-heavy game tonight, and it didn't look too good in the opening term, but it's been excellent ever since then. Ball inside 50 for the Giants. They're just really muscling it forward. Chisholm trying to force Dow back towards his own defensive goal in the tackle.
Marks is 75-70 GWS's way. It's a weird stat sheet, this one.
It certainly is. And it's a 37-point ball game in favour of the Blues. Ball does score it free. Lou can't get his kick away. We're back into traffic. Umpire just letting the players sort themselves out momentarily before calling for it. So just on that, Hanley 29 now, Trudgeon 25, Dotsey 23, North 22, and Chincotta 21 for the Blues. Here's a touch from Moschetti. I haven't seen too much of him since his blistering second term. He kicked two outstanding goals, but we've seen a lot of this man, Stevens. He gets it back by hand, and he chips it short to Moschetti. So a couple of the youngest VFL Blues combining. Now Sanders, another youngster. He's going to try and change the angles. Stock up. Just a little bit casual there, but didn't hurt him, the drop mark in the end. He's gone back for Moschetti. Changing the angles again. Aquay one-on-one. And good defensive mark by Miller. One of 4 GWS debutants tonight.
It'll be the Blues' 10th win, though. Unfortunately for these Giants. Big game against the Swans next week. Both teams still have a bye in their runs home.
And the wild card in all this, of course, is the Giants' draw, which happened earlier in the season against Sandringham. Could help them, could hinder them in their case for a top 4 spot.
Ball thrown up. Smothered kick. Got wet weather footy now. Chisholm onto the left. There is no one in orange and charcoal down there, though. An easy collect for Durden. And the kick eventually finds its way through to North. He's looking inboard. Ma. This might be a turnover. Brander picked it up off the deck and gave off his handball. A high one inside 50 here for GWS. 2 Blues against 1 Giant. It was a tough ask there for Barry Murphy. Ball is still in play for the moment. Now it's forced out of play. Boundary throw in on 50. Round 18 action. 4 more games to come tomorrow in Smithy's VFL. This is Kemp. Just gets his kick out before being brought down. Trudgeon couldn't mark it. Frost got a fist from behind, and then Fellows going back inside 50 for GWS, but no mark could be taken. The ball is dumped out once more by Durden. That was a big fly, but no mark for Aquay there. That would have been an amazing effort in these conditions, especially. Murkoff has to get his hand pass out. Sanders did. And it's a high ball by Lewis. No one could mark it. Ground level. Lear was stretching forward. Against Crocker. There was another Blue there as well. It was Carl going over the top, and the mark is taken now by McKinley Miller.
He's had the difficult task of standing alongside Dominic Aquay tonight, who, although he hasn't had a lot of the ball, just looks really dangerous inside forward 50. Ball in the middle of the ground now. Chincotta, Radovanovic in fact, but free kick going to Hanley anyway, and that'll bring up 32 disposals now for the Carlton midfielder. Call to play on, just handballs are short. We do have a Giant down behind play. It's in the hands of a couple of trainers.
Lockie right.
So disappointing way for his night to end as the umpire has to call for play to come to a halt now as the ball was heading into that area.
Didn't see what happened to Mikey Wright on the wing there.
No, I didn't see it either, but he still hasn't got up yet. He's just sitting on the turf, now slowly getting to his feet.
The Giants already lost Kyle Veras early in the game there, Ruck. There was a rib issue for Cooper Hamilton, but he did come back out after sustaining that injury. I think that was during the third quarter.
And he's reprised his role tagging Paddy Dow. And you've got to admit, that tag has worked. He's only had 18 touches, Dow, well down on his usual output, but he has kicked the 2 goals. So he's still managed to have an influence on this game. Out wide. Here's North, now running into space and not quite taking the mark was Trudgeon, but he had time to gather and Handley will get another touch. Waited to draw the defender, then got the kick away. Trudgeon ran further afield and has the ball now. So he's going to drive them inside forward 50 into the pocket. Crocker with the body work, couldn't get hand to ball. Here's a Quay, tried to create another highlight, but didn't know his own limitations there, and the Giants will come away with it.
Not for long, because underneath it is Lou for the Blues. Goes deep again. McQuay again involved in the marking contest, but just got caught too far behind that time. The tackle here by Moschetti, resulting in a ball up. So I think we've entered junk time now here, Michael. That's safe to say. Still some light rain falling here at Icon Park. That ball's touched. Lewis gathered it pretty well. It was a nice little chipper as well for Carl. And he's behind the boundary line as he lines up. Man on the mark, he's 45 out. And Carl goals tonight, 21 for the season. We've seen some good goal kicking from tough angles here tonight. Archie Stevens kicked a great one in the third quarter from that sort of angle on the other side of the ground, but this one amounts to nothing. And Brander now has the ball for GWS.
Last line of defence, goes up the middle, but it's straight to Lou. Another opportunity for the Blues to put a score on the board. Lou undecided as to where to go, so he's just going to have to set it up now. Murkov's the big target there. Only got a hand to it. Ball now in space. Aquay trying to run it down. Had more orange numbers around it though. Quirk just fashions a kick out of the area, but no one was there, and it's insufficient intent, according to the umpire. Free kick, Archie Stevens. It's really come to life in the second half. Stocker sends it long. Another high ball inside 50. Ball gets to the back. Dangerous for the GWS defence, but it's done okay there. Just a rush behind. Margin now 38 points, 12-17-89 to 8-3-51.
Giants have 2-1 in this final term. Hebron toward the outer side. Rental could have marked it, comes up a bit proppy after it. A little stretch of the left calf, and we've got a boundary throw in. Looks like Murkov has no ruck opponent. Dirkson's taking a long time to come across. He's had a pretty busy night with Kyle Veras going down as Wade Dirkson, boundary throw in. As the ball comes to ground, Pavlidis, Hebron, kick smothered on the way through. It's trickling on the wing. Quirk was met hard by Stocker. Ball up beside the centre square. Rain just getting a little heavier now here at Icon Park. Ball's going to bounce at half forward here for the Giants. It was well gathered, though, by Chincotta. Gave it to Dotsy. Towards half forward to Leah. He's in front of Akwe here. Akwe's actually done well to win that back. Leah then tackled him, and it's a throw. Free kick Giants. Leah will eventually get the ball here. That rain, you can hear it now in our effects mic. As heavy as it's been all night.
Leah goes inboard for Frost, who foregoes the Miller link in the chain, instead sends it all the way to the outer side of the ground for Fleeton. Even wider still go the Giants. Fellows it is. That's a well-weighted ball for Pavlidis. Kick and a half from goal. Pokes it to the hot spot. Off hands, Durden. Happy to see it over. So into time on now, final term. 38-point ball game. Glass McCaskers kicked the 3 goals, as has Archie Stevens for Carlton. Dow and Muschetti each have kicked 2. Hebron, Romensky and Shaw have all kicked 2 goals apiece for the Giants. Maybe a chance for another consolation goal for GWS from this stoppage. Trying to flash through was Grintle, unable to. Taken to ground, there was Kemp. Top of the square. Carlton have that under control. Dow puts it on the boot. Standing underneath it is Carl and takes a clever mark on the second grab.
Looking toward the outer side. Crocker's underneath. Made that stick as if it was a dry weather game. Comes inboard. Lewis, the kick just a bit too hot for him, but Chincotta there to clean up for the Blues. Gave off his handball. Sanders ended up running into the tackle. Crocker fending off 1, but not 2. Umpire got a good look at it. Free kick GWS. To be claimed by Dirksen. Ended up going straight after thinking lateral initially. Through some hands. Cheap goal out the back here, potentially for GWS. It'll be finished by Grintle. They get a late one. Harry Grintle kicking the goal to bring it back to 32 points.
Goal number 11 for the season for Harry Grintle. Shortest man on the field tonight, just 174 centimetres.
Now, Michael, those 4 games coming up tomorrow in Smithies at VFL. 2 at midday. Northern Bullants hosting Box Hill, and Southport will host Essendon 1 hour later. 2 more games kicking off. Sandringham and Port Melbourne, and then the Brisbane Lions and the Gold Coast Suns. A battle of the 2 AFL sides up there in southeast Queensland.
Yep, a big VFL Q clash coming up. 2 games of Smithies VFL footy in southeast Queensland as well. As the Blues go inside 50, Handley did well on the half volley. Trapped it nicely. Dow spun 720. Did get a handball away. Edwards for GWS, and, well, that's going to be insufficient intent, you'd suspect.
Umpire steams in. Always an indication that they're going to pay the free kick.
Yep, they get a look about them, the umpires, when they're about to pay that one, and that one was easy to spot. North runs off the line and sends it to the pack. Murkov not quite. Sanders lurking. So too Crocker. He'd like a second, and he gets it. 2 goals, 3 for Ben Crocker tonight. And a 38-point lead restored for Carlton.
$32 goals on his year now.
3rd in the Frosty Miller medal race, but some way behind Chris Burgess and Fergus Green. He'd need a couple of really big bags towards the end of the season to force his name into that conversation.
Just about done here. We're going to see this match up. Pretty big game in the AFL tomorrow between the Blues and Giants. Ball now thrown up in these conditions. Brandt got it before Dow did. Giants will clear. Chisholm. Big high left footer. Kemp tried to mark it. Long sleeves may have helped him, but didn't mark it in the end. It's on ground level. Ma going in hard there against Grace. GWS ball though. Chisholm on the follow-up. Tackled immediately. So Seagulls for the Blues next week. GWS will play the Swans. Ball was helped on through by Castellini. Little kick didn't go too far for Grace, and we have another stoppage that's called for. The rain keeps tumbling down at Icon Park. Another stoppage here. Everyone here just seemingly waiting for the siren now. The Blues are going to get win number 10 and maintain their spot in the top 4 after round 18.
Yep, they'll be in 4th place at the conclusion of this round. It's where they started the round. Fell out momentarily after Sydney got a big win over Frankston today, but they'll be back in 4th spot, and the Giants, their top 4 hopes have been dimmed somewhat after this game. Ball goes goalward. One-on-one in the square. Grintle fighting hard. And Chincotta will just paddle it through for a rush behind. 13 goals, 17 the Blues. 9 goals, 4 now the Giants. 37 points is the lead. The Giants started the game brightly, but since quarter time, it's just been all navy blue. Murkoff took the mark, but gave away the free for a push in the back. So Dirksen can try and create one last goal for the Giants. Broke the ankles of Murkoff, then sent it to the top of the square. Big fist came. Dow on the end of it, and now Carl has it in the corridor. Bring it out wide for Handley. 35 now for David Handley. North. The lift door's closed on him. Just got boot to ball, but only as far as the Lear. Edwards, Hamilton. High up the line. Carlton with the numbers. Murkoff can't hang on. But they'll get out of danger anyway. But Carl ferociously tackled over the boundary line. The Giants still showing a little bit of spirit. Late in the final term, 28.5 minutes gone. They trail it by 37.
Hope you've enjoyed it on afl.com.au, AFL Live app. Some Saturday evening footy in Smithies at VFL. Edwards going towards half forward. Stocker regaining it for the Blues. Dotsy's been good tonight. Durden has some space, but took a while to pick up the ball, and now he's under some pressure. Help arrived, though, through Kemp. It's a well-weighted ball, though Lewis didn't take the mark. It was a good sliding effort. Tyrese Liu now turning Castellini inside out and then finding Chincotta. Did well there. There's a couple of Italian names in that passage there. Michael Petrevski-Seton. Here's Durden going out wide. Dotsy. So the Blues now perhaps just waiting for siren time themselves to get in from this heavy rain. They win it by 37 against GWS here tonight. 13-17-95. Greater Western Sydney 9-4-58 at a soggy Icon Park in round 18.
So the Giants got off to a good start. They led it by 10 points at quarter.